What if I told you that one man's imagination was powerful enough to bend time, to stretch space, and to reveal secrets of the universe no one had ever seen before? He was not a soldier, not a king, not a billionaire. He was a quiet boy who once struggled in school, yet grew up to become the most famous scientist in history. This is the story of Albert Einstein, the man who gave us the theory of relativity, the man whose name is now a synonym for genius. But behind the wild hair and brilliant mind was also a story of love, loss, exile, mistakes, and humanity. Stay with me, because Albert Einstein's life is far more dramatic than you ever imagined. Albert Einstein was born on March 14th, 1879, in Ulm, Germany. As a baby, he barely spoke. His parents worried he might never talk. When he finally did, he often repeated words softly to himself, almost like he was testing them. At school, Einstein was not the shining star teachers expected. He was slow to answer, dreamy, distracted. One teacher even said, "He will never amount to anything." But Albert had a secret. While other kids memorized lessons, he stared at light and wondered. At the age of 5, his father showed him a simple compass. The little needle, always pointing north, filled young Albert with awe. He asked himself, what invisible force moved that needle? That question would spark a lifetime of curiosity. Einstein loved math and physics. He hated strict rote learning, but when given freedom, he soared. As a teenager, he devoured books on science and philosophy. He imagined riding alongside a beam of light, asking, what would I see? Would the world freeze around me? This thought experiment, childlike yet profound, would later become the seed of relativity. But Einstein's school life was not easy. He clashed with rigid German education, dropped out, and eventually studied at the Swiss Federal Polytechnic in Zurich. Even there, he was not the top student. He often skipped lectures, preferring to study on his own. Professors thought him lazy. But behind the scenes, Einstein was quietly building a universe of ideas. After graduation, Einstein faced rejection after rejection. No university wanted to hire him. No professor wanted him as an assistant. For a while, the genius was unemployed, broke, and ignored. Finally, through a friend, he got a modest job at the Swiss Patent Office. It was not glamorous. He reviewed patent applications for inventions. But in that quiet office, Einstein found something priceless, time to think. At night, while the world slept, he scribbled equations. On weekends, he dreamed up thought experiments. And in 1905, everything exploded. The year 1905 is called Einstein's Annus Mirabilis, his miracle year. In just 12 months, a 26-year-old patent clerk published 4 scientific papers that shook physics forever. He proved that light can act as tiny particles, quanta, laying the foundation for quantum physics. He explained how molecules move, giving final proof that atoms actually exist. He described how time and space are not absolute but relative, depending on speed. And, oh yes, he gave us the most famous equation in the world, E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. This simple formula revealed that mass and energy are the same thing, unlocking the power of the atom. Imagine, a part-time patent clerk, unknown to the world, just rewrote the laws of the universe. At first, Einstein's work was ignored, but slowly the scientific world caught on. Then, in 1919, during a solar eclipse, his theory was confirmed. Light from distant stars bent around the sun, just as he predicted. Overnight, Einstein became a global celebrity. Newspapers shouted, "Revolution in science! Newton overthrown." Yet fame did not make life easy. His marriage to Mileva Merrick, a fellow student, fell apart. They had 2 sons, and a daughter whose fate remains a mystery. Einstein's relentless focus on science left scars on his family life. And as he rose to fame, dark clouds gathered over Europe. Einstein was Jewish. And in the 1930s, Adolf Hitler and the Nazis rose to power in Germany. Einstein's theories were dismissed by Nazi scientists as Jewish physics. His books were burned in public squares. In 1933, while visiting the United States, Einstein received chilling news. If he returned to Germany, he could be killed. So he made a choice. He renounced his German citizenship and accepted a position at Princeton University. From then on, America became his home. Einstein was a pacifist at heart. He hated war. But in 1939, with Hitler threatening the world, colleagues urged him to act. Einstein co-signed a letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, warning that Germany might build a devastating new weapon, the atomic bomb. That letter led to the Manhattan Project in the U.S. Einstein himself did not work on the bomb. In fact, he was horrified when Hiroshima and Nagasaki were destroyed. He later said, "If I had known, I would not have lifted a finger." It was perhaps the greatest moral burden of his life. His famous equation, E equals mc squared, had unlocked both power plants and mushroom clouds. In his later years, Einstein became more than a scientist. He became a moral voice for humanity. He spoke out against racism, segregation, and nuclear weapons. He championed civil rights, even supporting African American activists in the U.S. At Princeton, he became a beloved figure, eccentric, humble, riding his bicycle around town, hair untamed, eyes twinkling. Students adored him. The press followed him. Children asked him for advice. He never became rich. He turned down offers to profit from his fame. He cared only for curiosity, truth, and peace. Albert Einstein died on April 18, 1955, at the age of 76. Doctors found a note he had written shortly before his death. It said simply, "It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share. It is time to go. I will do it elegantly." His brain was secretly removed for study, sparking decades of debate about genius and biology. But Einstein's true legacy cannot be measured in anatomy. It lives in every GPS satellite, every nuclear plant, every equation of modern physics. It lives in our understanding that the universe is not rigid, but alive, flexible, curved by mass and energy. And it lives in the reminder that imagination is just as important as knowledge. Albert Einstein once said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, but imagination encircles the world." He proved that a curious little boy with a compass could one day change the way we see time, space, and reality itself. So the next time you look at the stars, remember Einstein, because he showed us that the universe is not a cold machine. It is a mystery waiting for dreamers. This was the life of Albert Einstein.